This guy is actually, and he's lying, by the way.
But during Gulf War
Those shells we'll never use.
Desert Shield,
This guy is related to Bill Gates or someone, and basically does not
the
care.
use of radioactive materials on the battlefield.
He's regarded as a war criminal and the most horrible person in the world.
Tons and tons, over 350 tons of solid radioactive materials.
Using money, they just wanted to win. They didn't care how.
Kuwait, Saudi Arabia,
So they use these rounds, which are, like I say, they'll kill people to the target as well as kill the target. If you have money and you don't really care how you win or what way you win, you do this.
I am considered a disabled veteran. I got a 40% disability from the United States Department of Veteran Affairs for combat injuries caused by depleted.
He has no combat injuries. And what he means by he's waiting for, or his benefits to kick in, what he means by benefits, he means the people he killed and the money that they stole and the money that they gained from death, basically. He's really somewhat related to Bill Gates and how Bill Gates was anything. Like I say, Bill Gates is not a programmer. He is not a computer guy. He is nothing but a kid named Zachary and a piece of shit. And him and that other guy that you just saw on the screen and some other people who had some amount of money basically found some German research on basically nuclear arms or nuclear weapons, or at least use some radioactive theory basically. Each shell becomes like a small nuclear reactor, pretty much. So it's actually doing nuclear fusion to its target. It's basically like having an open nuclear reactor out just in the normal day. Like, hey kids, let's have a nuclear reaction right here now. And it's basically using nuclear reactions to pretty much kill everybody to your target and your target. And basically, if you don't care how much damage you do or who you kill, then that's what you use. Anyway, so that's how Bill Gates had any money or any power. It was basically that guy and a bunch of other people that got together and pretty much made these things. And basically, they didn't care what happened to their soldiers. They didn't care what happened to anyone or anything. They just wanted to win, and they didn't care how. And that guy is regarded as a war criminal and the most horrible person on this earth, basically. And is responsible for millions of people dying and millions of people getting radiation sickness and millions of people getting everything, because basically it's a small nuclear reactor that basically is open source right up until a point of impact. And even then it's still highly, highly radioactive. So you can't even really clean them up except without suits. But basically it's like having a nuclear reactor out in broad daylight with no shielding at all. And basically they killed thousands or millions and basically contaminated half the desert or half the place, pretty much. And they really didn't care how they won. They really didn't care which way they won, and they really didn't care about the damage that it would do to the people that they had firing those weapons. And so that's pretty much how, basically how they got so powerful and so tough and so much money. And that's basically, when you look at Bill Gates, what you should really see is his father, or that guy. I think that's Bill Gates' father, actually, or someone like that. I don't really know, or a family member or something. Anyway, they kidnapped a bunch of German scientists and basically had them make them some shells, and then they shot them after they had made them as war criminals or something like that. Basically, I know everything there is to know about them and everything else, and I knew about everything else and regarded it as a problem, and basically some really stupid people that really didn't care. Like, they could have used this normal weapons in other ways, but they decided to do it the quick, easy way. They killed a bunch of people, and then basically, and then had other people. Basically, they contaminated a huge spot, and then basically didn't care about the workers that would go into these spots to do whatever. And they just killed the guards, and then basically raped, killed, all that stuff, and basically are really horrible people. But anyway, those rounds would go through concrete. They would go through bunkers. They'd go through anything, and that's pretty much what they used them for. And they're really horrible people, and the rest of the galaxy probably knows about them and knows who they are. And it's probably going to get them afterwards. Anyway, I don't really know. They were more of a problem to the universe than they were to me. But anyway, so yeah. But yeah, that's the guy, and they didn't give a fuck about anything. And pretty much the nuclear ammo, or they said it was depleted uranium, but it wasn't depleted. It was very much just straight uranium, and even being around the shells was really dangerous. Prolonged exposure to the shells would lead to death, just like they did on the way to the target. So it not only killed your men, but it also killed your targets. So basically, it was a desperate man's weapon, and they used it a lot, or a fair amount. So anyway, but yeah, and that's how Bill Gates had a little bit of money or something. So anyway.